Red Bull shattered its rivals' hopes of broken dominance in Monaco, with reigning F1 world champion Max Verstappen in front from lights to flag, despite the late arrival of rain for his fourth win from 6 races. And a tighter grip on the title fight, with teammate Sergio Perez now 39 points adrift after a nightmare weekend. The Dutchman finished almost 28 seconds up on Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso, who was forced to repeat his second stop in successive laps after gambling on mediums instead of intermediates. Red Bull now looks unstoppable, with its RB19 set to suit the European permanent tracks ahead, despite Verstappen's fraught final laps on Inters in Monaco for his second win there and 39th overall. "I clipped the walls a few times, but that's Monaco," he said. Alonso resigned himself to second, stating his double stop wouldn't have changed the result, but Aston Martin's still well behind Red Bull. "On the lap I stopped, the track was completely dry apart from turns 7 and 8, so why fit Inters, especially when it felt like a small shower and we had plenty of margin behind us," he said. Alpine made the most of Monte Carlo, with Esteban Ocon on the podium, having finished where he started after a brilliant Q3 lap in qualifying, and Pierre Gasly 7th for the team's second straight double points finish, no doubt placating CEO Laurent Rossi after his Miami meltdown. Mercedes' double-stack stop on lap 55 helped it leapfrog Ferrari in Monte Carlo, with Sir Lewis Hamilton finishing in 4th and George Russell 5th. But Spain ahead will be the test of its W14's upgrades, with mechanical grip king around the Principality. Russell, though, kicked himself after an uncharacteristic off at turn 5 in the wet following his stop, which not only cost him a podium, but a 5-second time penalty for collecting Checo upon his return to the track. "I wasn't even pushing. I touched the brake and locked up," he said. "That cost the team a podium." Ferrari's implosion continued in Monaco, despite double points in the bag. Charles Leclerc finished where he started in 6th after a 3-place grid penalty for impeding McLaren's Lando Norris in qualifying. While Carlos Sainz's frustration boiled over in Monte Carlo, given he went from 4th on the grid to finish 8th after a clumsy attempt to pass Ocon on lap 11, his spin on slicks at turn 5 as the rain arrived on lap 55, and the team's almost comical strategic indecision. McLaren carved out double points for the second time in 2023, with the squad closing out the top 10, with Norris 9th and Oscar Piastri 10th for his second point score in F1, 57 years after the squad's first F1 start at the 1966 Monaco Grand Prix. To the drivers' standings, and Verstappen is now 39 points up on Checo, who finished 16th after he crashed in qualifying and started last. Alonso remains in touch, 12 points the gap. Onto the constructors, and Red Bull has now more than doubled the total of second-placed Aston Martin, 249 to 120. Merc is ahead of Ferrari, and Alpine has jumped ahead of McLaren for 5th. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.